Origin Just Home Reacts, and this is the Fallout NCR service rifle, New Vegas clone build by the channel Brandon Herrera. Yes, another Brandon Herrera video. It's about like NCR service rifle from New Vegas. I'm a big New Vegas fan, as some of you already know. And how the hell did I miss this one? Oh, okay, it's 3 weeks ago. Somehow read that 3 years ago. Yeah, it makes sense then. Yeah, because service rifle is just like one of those guns that you get very early in the game. If you know where to look, you get many things early in the game. But yeah, service rifle, you kinda get it early because of like, I don't know, you kill some legion here and there, and they'll just basically drop it to you or something. But yeah, service rifle, obviously ammo isn't available, but it's like one of those guns that you just have. It's just awesome. I'm guessing it's like some kind of an M class type of gun based on some kind of battle rifle or something. Obviously, Brandon Herrera will tell us here. What is it based on and whatnot or something. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's what it. Remember, if you like my Rickson, don't subscribe, so that way you can help out this channel by helping the algorithm and things. I watch many different type of videos. I've been watching military style videos a lot recently. Basically, this type of thing. Equipment, so gun is part of it. I think I watched Brandon Herrera video, long time, a year ago or something. 2 or 3 video about like British was just about like that Darwin Award type of thing. But then I just watched AK-50, which was insane, and I guess now this service rifle. I also did another Darwin Awards video, which was, every time I watch those videos, it's just like insane. It just makes me think like, okay, you should have some kind of like training, right? School training or something, right? You have like sex aid and things like that in school. So if Second Amendment is that strong for Americans, there should be like a class in school where people just learn things or something. But yeah, that's this one. Even as Pip Boy. Why golden though?
Oh yeah.
This is Fallout 4 music, not New Vegas, but
God, yeah.
it's fine.
Oh, I needed that.
What is that replica? Did he make it, or like there are? See, one thing is like I live in India and there's many things that I can't get. But in America, it's like a small businesses are so many that people always make some awesome shit here and there, right? I can't even like import it here or something like that because it would cost 3 times as high or something. I'm guessing some company makes replicas type this. It looks so awesome. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Now I'm ready to take on the wasteland.
Death Cloud, really?
Man, patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. But with the NCR service rifle, makes it a little bit more bearable. Now, for those of you who don't know,
New
I'm
Vegas
a big
fan?
Fallout nerd. I know. Brandon being a nerd, who would have seen that coming? Whatever. But I always thought that the service rifle from Fallout New Vegas was pretty neat. And the timing couldn't have worked out any better because as soon as we finished this thing up, of course, Amazon Prime dropped the new Fallout TV show, which reignited a lot of people's energy and excitement for the games. But this isn't just your standard AR-15 with wood furniture. There's a lot of attention to detail that went into making this clone.
Yeah, I think season 2 is going to New Vegas, and I'm thinking they will make a lot of mentions from the game New Vegas, right? Which is very weird, man. I'm such a big Fallout fan. I still remember New Vegas was the least appreciated Fallout game on the Fallout fans. It did the least. I mean, it's so Fallout, so it was like made a decent enough money, but it didn't make the same money as Fallout 3 and something like that, right? Even in the ratings. But people like me, there are like hardcore fans. Obviously, the Fallout 1, Fallout 2 fans, that's in the same range, made by the same people. Obsidians, what is IO Interactive, whatever the name was earlier. They made it so, there's like real RPG roots there. So they were like hardcore fans, right? But now New Vegas has become such a like big thing now. Like people really like it. People like, even the people who didn't before are like really liking it now. So I'm guessing they will make a lot of New Vegas references in season 2. And I'm hoping they make some kind of a remaster. which at least creates an engine or something, Fallout 4 engine, right? Because New Vegas is so good, but I'm playing it recently, and obviously before I didn't realize it. Now I'm realizing like draw distance is so horrendous. Literally 50 foot front of you, like there is something, it won't appear unless you like come closer, which is like insane.
Correct, but you know what? Enough talking. Let's go shoot.
I know in one of his videos he said like I have a overpriced like editor or something. Apparently not overpriced, because that shit was awesome, right? It just looked like game or something.
Yeah, we is out of bullets. What's going on, nerds and virgins? I'm just kidding, although you probably were when you first started playing Fallout, in which case you recognize this immediately. This is the Fallout NCR service rifle. The NCR, you might...
Wait a minute, how old was I? Yeah, I was 17 at the time, yeah.
remember as these stuck-up good guys from New Vegas. That didn't stop me from doing heinous shit to them, which I kind of feel bad about because they're, I guess, the closest thing the game has to a good guy per se. But then I remember NCR stands for New California Republic.
I mean, it's not the same California we have right now. And as far as good guys, anybody who's like seen geopolitics and know how the real world works would realize like NCR is the thing you need. Good guys is a bit of a stretch, but I would always go with NCR. Independence is like a dream. It's never gonna sustain itself. Legion is obviously horrendous. NCR is the only thing left, right? Good guys are that one. Who Freedom? Who was that? I forgot. Like Mormon Fort one. I forgot the faction's name. But they are not the big player. They are not part of the end game or something. But yeah, their thing is like just general good. They're properly good in Fallout universe, not just in New Vegas. I think they are the only one that are kind of good.
And then I feel a little bit better.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
This is a
You hear that
faithful
on Reddit
clone
all the
of that
time.
weapon from the game, with a lot of really cool little details to it. It's not just an AR-15 with wood furniture, although that's, I'll be honest with you, Chief, that's most of what it is. But there's a lot of little things that make it unique and things that...
Hold up, the service rifle is just AR-15? I mean, that would make sense, right? Wait a minute, if that's the case, that is awesome. Because there's like a thing, AR-15 is the most famous rifle in US. And if everything would go to shit, what would be the automatic rifle that America has now? Obviously AR-15, so service rifle should be AR-15, right? That would make sense.
that I think are worth talking about. So first off, yes, it is an AR/M4, M16 platform weapon system with 20 round magazines as per the game, chambered in 5.56. You might think, oh, well, 20 round magazines, that's kind of lame. But to be fair, it's twice as much as you can.
Hold up, the game has 5mm, right? It's not 5.56. Is it? No, it is 5.56. Yeah, sorry. The service rifle is 5.56, but the other one, assault carbine, is somehow 5mm.
Really own in California currently, so them boys will take their wins when they can get them. Yes, just like the game, ours is semi-auto. Ish. Look, I wanted this gun to be really cool, so we took some creative liberties with it. What, do you have a problem with that?
I detect a little communism.
So while this gun is not full auto, it does have a 3-round burst mechanism, which I figured fits with the theme, you know, a service rifle, very M16 looking. I figured 3-round burst, kind of, it fits. So the 3-round burst mechanism on this setup in particular, you've got your selector, which goes from safe to fire, which is where you have semi-auto, but where we would normally have the full auto on the 3rd setting, Instead of full auto, we have the ratchet on the inside, which then acts as basically a limiter. So instead of just going and going as long as I hold down the trigger, it's got a mechanism inside that limits it to 3 rounds. So even though I hold down the trigger, only 3 rounds come out. And it only does increments of 3 rounds, never 1 or 2, depending on how it's feeling that day, or what time of day it is, or maybe it's a day that ends in Y, or maybe you had pudding for breakfast. I don't know. See, not always great. So let's take a look at what exactly that entails. I'm not going to do a full breakdown on this. It's an AR-15. We've done AR videos before. I've broken down how the operating system, whatnot works. But let's go ahead and pull this apart. Pop the pin here. This magazine out of the way. So let's go from safe to semi to giggle. Let's go from safe to semi. And when we pull this trigger, 1 round is fired. It resets. I have to let off the trigger to then reset the hammer to where the hammer is now able to be fired again. Pull the trigger, hammer goes forward. Now let's flip over to first setting. So I pull the trigger.
Okay, I'm not a gun guy, obviously. I live in India, right? I haven't seen an automatic rifle in real life, let alone use one. But yeah, every time I see guns, I'm like astonished, right? Like how so many mechanisms are at play here at such a high speed. And guns are relatively like, accurate? No, wait a minute. Reliable, right? It works. As Todd Howard once said, it works. They're always like surprises me, like too many mechanisms in a way, right? I mean, sure, it's like simplistic in a way that anyone in their garage, if they know how to make it, can kind of make it. But it's like too many mechanisms that I have, like especially with automatic and things like that. And somehow they work, right? The failure rate is much lower than you would think it would have. If you're a gun guy, you would just like, what you're talking about, of course, but outside perspective, really seeing a mechanical thing like this, it just makes me think like, how is it working so smoothly? And guns are one of those things like, universal. I guess we humans perfected how to like hurt each other, so somehow people just perfected how to make guns, so it just like works. I don't know. It just always surprises me how automatic guns just work like that. Very little maintenance is needed compared to any other mechanical things in the world, right?
Hammer goes forward, put it back, and now whenever I trip this sear, the what would be an auto sear, when I trip that and push that forward, the hammer is then released again. All right, so that's our 2nd round fired. Back again, hit it again, 3rd round fired. But now, when I do this one more time, the trip, or the sear, no longer trips and engages the hammer. That's because the burst mechanism down underneath the hammer has caught it. So I have to let off the trigger to be able to then fire again. Not a big fan of 3-round burst, to be honest with you. It's a little unpredictable as to whether or not it works. Sometimes the mechanism doesn't quite work 100% of the time.
60% of the time, it works every time.
But honestly, I just prefer.
I just said, okay. Yeah, I mean, burst mode in a way, if you really think about it, it kind of feels weird, right? Because anybody's going to, in real life, use these kind of weapons are going to be pros, soldiers and people who just have proper training. They can use burst if like recoil is an issue just by their training, like how to like pull the trigger, when to let it go, just like they can feel things. They don't really need a mechanism to limit their firing, right? It's fun in video games, I guess, because you don't want to like press mouse like that. In real life burst, does that even matter? I guess if you're really new and you just barely know how to use a gun, maybe it would be like beneficial to you, I guess, because otherwise recoil would be too much.
For using, a little bit of trigger discipline and being able to just use full auto and decide to let off the trigger whenever I want. I think it's usually kind of the better way to go on that. So unfortunately, in real life, you can't get a stim pack, but you can get something that rhymes with it. That's right. TacPack. TacPack is a monthly tactical subscription service that gives you all sorts of cool goodies like tactical swag, tin-coated AR BCGs. That was heavy. Reptilia pistol grips, Rat's tourniquets, tactical pistol carriers, Kobe. Oh, it was expensive. And if you sign up now using code AKGUY, you can get a free bonus box of extra tactical goodness. Links are down in the description and in the pinned comment. Thanks to TacPack for sponsoring this video. Back to the service rifle. ADD break. So as you probably know, as a Fallout fan, this thing is pretty ass at penetrating Deathclaw armor. The question we're going to answer today is, how is it at penetrating White Claws? And in honor of the 3-round burst feature, we're going to have 3 cans. Is the 3rd round?
I mean, you can kill death claws with it, but you need like hollow point round, right? Is it? No, it's wait a minute. Death claws of armor? No, those are scales, so hollow point, right? So if you're hollow point, I'm pretty sure like 3-4 ammos that you can do reloading bench and things like that. But like the main ones, I'm pretty sure hollow point would be overpowered against death claws. Usually it's armor piercing rounds, so they're overpowered because only 0.05% is the only cutoff there, and advantage is much higher, like armor piercing advantage. Somehow that's like overkill armor piercing rounds. But yeah, hollow point against death claws with this weapon, and it's the DPS is much high enough. Yeah, it eats through like ammo.
Even gonna hit a can? No, most likely not. But I don't know. He doesn't even know how to use the 3 cans. POV, you think a Nuka-Cola boy can get with a Sunset Sarsaparilla gal? In 3, 2, 1. It's the neat part about 3-round burst is that sometimes it just fucking decides to not do that. Straight up, I'm not changing the selector setting, anything at all. It just, whatever, dude. All right, even though it was only 1 round, we had the Chad Superior 20-inch barrel length. So yeah, it had no problem ripping through all 3 cans and depositing a lot.
Like, yeah, you put them, like one after behind, right? The bullet is probably gonna go through all of them, even one bullet, right? 5.50, yeah, it would go through can.
Of muzzle energy. These actually, they all came forward pretty much. This is the base of one of those cans, just completely flattened from the amount of energy being just deposited inside the cans. It's pretty gnarly. 0 out of 10, would not recommend to a friend.
War. War never changes. And neither does the fact that you can get your start in gunsmithing and weapons technology at sdi.edu. Links in the description and in the pinned comment. But let's look at all the things.
This is war never changes, right? Why can't they have Pullman say that in Fallout Show? I mean, you put this much money, you can't just have Pullman say that just for narration. He could be a narrator for the entire series. That would be so good.
That makes this different from its standard AR-15 and what makes this, Fallout service rifle. Starting with the most obvious, the wood furniture. This was done by Black Guns Wood, and it looks incredible. It actually feels really good too. As you might know, I've got a bit of an affinity, for wood furniture on guns, so this feels right at home for me. You might also notice our muzzle brake here at the end, not exactly your standard A2 birdcage. So just like the game, this muzzle device, instead of being a flash hider, doesn't have any holes or vents of any kind. It doesn't do anything. It does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If there's no hole, how is it going to break muzzle? How is it muzzle break?
But it is 100% correct to the one in the game. Was it for aesthetic reasons, or was it just the fact that the devs didn't add any of the holes, or they didn't care, or they didn't know what it was for? Moving on. So this lower actually has all...
I don't want to pause too much, but technically, vanilla game, the proper old 2010 New Vegas with no mods, the gun textures are so bad, especially in today's standard. You'd barely notice it. Maybe there are small holes that way you can see it. Bethesda engine was insanely weak, right? Their games were so good that we were like, overseeing that. Like, no, Skyrim felt great when I played in 2011, but even by 2013, I'm like, something needs here, something. In today, it's like, okay, you need mods now.
All the correct markings, and down to some really cool details. This was done for us by Bad Attitude Department, and you've got, if you look here on the lower, property of U.S. government service rifle. 5.56 cal, thanks Fallout. Serial number, FNV, in honor of the best Fallout New Vegas, 047074. Aw, that's kind of a cool touch. But it even gets more autistic in some of the details on this thing. Long Branch Arsenal, Ontario, USA territory. That's right, Canada. If the United States has to have a crisis on the southern border, so do you. We're coming for that ass. Those are all joke novelty markings, of course. The actual markings are on the inside of the trigger well, so this is all, of course, ATF compliant and things. But it's really neat because it is paired, I believe, with a Canadian C7 upper as well. So there's a lot of different unique features about it, even down to the really anemic charging handle up top. Like that is straight like impossible to even attempt just from one side, one finger there. That is mandatory whole hand involvement.
But you know, while I'm not a big cosplayer or anything like that, I do think that this does look good. It's got a natural patina to it, some of which I added to earlier in this video. Fuck! Ah! Oh, God! But it's just really neat. It goes above, like I said, just above just wood furniture on an AR-15. I think it's...
Isn't he running for Senate or something? Imagine that, like, oh, that's the guy we're supposed to vote for, and they just go through the road and they see him like running and falling like that. Like, what is happening?
It's a really cool bit of life imitating art, I think, in that way. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fallout service rifle. Clone correct with some specific enhancements. This thing is super neat. Again, thank you to the people who helped make this thing possible. It's a sweet build, and it just looks really cool hanging up on the wall. Because, you know, us real ones, we get it. Once again, we appreciate Matt for letting us use the Desperado Ranch. I appreciate the IRS for absolutely nothing, and I appreciate you guys for staying all the way to the end. Be sure to make sure you're still subscribed and that YouTube hasn't randomly decided to unsubscribe you. Leave a comment on your favorite Fallout game, and if you think that the TV show actually did it justice, I appreciate you guys staying all the way to the end, and I will see you, sexy YouTube mother lovers, in the next video.
Yeah, I think show was great. I mean, I don't know how to quantify it, but like, things have been so shit recent years, everywhere, everything, every adaptation of things. Fallout was good, right? But then again, one season felt like introduction. You know, so far they've been keeping up to the source material, like to the letter, right? They're trying to do that. They even like had the balls to go to New Vegas for season 2. It's like, I get it, like for, you know, like California, it's like Fallout 1, 2, that type of thing, right? But New Vegas is recent. 2010 is not that far away. These are the new recent 3D games, right? It's like them suddenly going to Washington DC for, you know, like Fallout 3, and they have to like keep up with that shit. A lot of things we do in the game is like has this kind of element. Like, did you do this? Did you do that? It's like up to the player. So now we're gonna have to think about what is canon, right? Mr. House is probably alive because they showed him in like they somehow try to focus on his character, so it gave me the feeling that he's probably going to be alive, which means NCR and Legion thing didn't happen, and that would make sense because NCR is in shambles, right? So NCR didn't win in New Vegas, basically. So we went through House's ending or something. I guess that's what happened, right? Because if House is not alive and NCR is also destroyed, what happened? Which entity came and destroyed everything? Legion is still there? That would be insane. Like, how do you explain Legion? That just makes this into grim dark or some shit. Because Legion is way too dark, right? In today's video game, Legion cannot be like portrayed. In 2010, it worked. But yeah. Right, well, if you like my next one, subscribe. If you want to do more videos like this, reactions like this, definitely comment down. And yeah, if you want to see another like AK-50 reactions and things like that, check out the end cards right now. I'll link in the description. And I'll see you next time.